don't leave crumbs.
Homemade breadcrumbs are going to taste better. You'll save money.
Let's make breadcrumbs.
We've heard so much about Langer, and there's obviously that famous Monty quote about the sprinkler head. Have you measured it from the front or the back of the sprinkler head? So I'd love to get your take.
Well, things like that are true. And look, I end up hitting the opening tee shot when I wasn't quite expecting to, and we're playing Mark Calcavecchia, who'd won the Open at Troon in July, and Ken Green. I don't know if people remember Ken Green, quite famous, wearing a green glove and green shoes and stuff like that. And Calcas, it's massive. I mean, you got to understand, this is like a TV production show that goes on. I mean, people think that the Ryder Cup's all about the players. It's not. It's all about television. And it's like a big TV production. Your name's called. There's the parting of the crowd, and you move down to the first tee, and 55,000 people are there, and there's cheering. There's cameramen diving on the ground in front of you, cameras on your side. There's 2,000 cameras on site, cameramen on site. There's 150 TV cameras. You're live to 1 billion people globally, and they're watching every move. And you walk down on the first tee, and it happens very quickly. It's all done, but Ivor's on the tee, and he's looking at you, and I've got the ball in my hand, and so he knows you're going to hit. And there's a nod and a wink, and it's okay, guys, and it's actions. Lights, actions, go, like this sort of thing. As I keep going, the TV thing, and Calcavecchia holds the head cover off his driver, and he's got a metal driver. He's got a tailor-made burner. I mean, we'd only read about these in a magazine. We didn't know they actually existed. And he's pulled it. And I'm like going, he's got a metal driver. It's this here sort of thing. Shuffle, because the away team hits first, so he's shuffle. Doesn't he bluter one down the middle of the fairway? Absolutely rips one down on the tee. Ronan Rafferty, I'm shaking in my boots. I'm absolutely quick. The only thing, as hope you don't mind me saying, the only thing that's not moving are my bowels. And anyway, I end up, deep breaths, shove the tee in the ground. The ball sits on the tee, which is a result. My hands are shaking so much. I sort of take a few practice swings, and it's deathly silence. And I'm standing there thinking, oh God, any one of these practice swings, just keep going. Just keep going backwards and make a swing. Anyway, I make the fastest, quickest swing. I mean, I'm not going to long swing anyway. I make the fastest, quickest swing you've ever seen in your life. I get it back to about my knees, and I start trying to have a go at hitting it. And this thing comes straight off the toe, and there's a tree about big oak tree about 100 yards off the first tee at the Belfry. And this thing's going straight at the tree, and all I can think of is that, can you imagine your opening tee shot hitting the tree and going bump, 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 and coming rolling back to the front of the tee, and Bernard walking up sort of 8 yards and having to hit his second shot. You just, all this nightmare is going through your mind. Anyway, it manages just to clip a few leaves as it goes past it, and finishes in a bunker about 220 yards on the left-hand side of the fairway. Now, one of the nice things is, about a month after the Ryder Cup, you get sent all these really nice bits and pieces as well. You get this album of, the Ryder Cup and team pictures and all this stuff, but you also get an album of you at the Ryder Cup. Stuff for you, standing, talking to somebody, picking your nose, scratching your backside, looking away in the wind and all this sort of stuff. And you also get 2 videos. You get an official video, Ryder Cup video, and you also get a video of you still scratching your arse and picking your nose. And so this arrives. So I click on my video, and you see, I've got to see this opening tee shot. Did it look and feel as bad as it was? Anyway, I'm waving and smiling down to the first tee. My name's called. I wave and smile. I peg it down. I take a practice swing. I hit the shot. Oh, and there's a few ohs and groans, and a clap and a cheer, and we go off. And Bernard's got his arm around my shoulder and all this sort of stuff, and cheering and going. That's great. Cameramen are all over the place, and I'm smiling and waving away, and I'm thinking, that never happened. I was crapping myself, literally. I might have been smiling, because it was gritted teeth, you know, it was like this, and I'm thinking, I'm so nervous. Bernard's holding on to me, and he's like whispering in my ear, and they're all cheering, and all I can think of is that it didn't hit the tree, and this ball is, you know, in the bunker down the left-hand side. I've never been more delighted with a shot in my life. Literally, I'm thinking of
what result?
the tee, and I never have to do that. Yeah. Anyway, and we lose the first 3 holes. We're like 3 down after 3, and ended up getting beaten 2-1. But you know, Bernard played terrible, and we got beat. You know, that's how I always say it.